Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome to yet another Doctor Who review. Today we'll be reviewing episode number 7, entitled The Long Game, from 2005, from the first series of the rebooted series. Now, as is tradition on the Doctor Who Is My Life channel, we will start the review with a short recap. Continuing from the last episode, the Doctor, Rose, and Adam arrive at a space station by the name of Satellite 5 in the year 200,000. The Doctor explains how it's now the fourth bountiful human empire. Human race is at its most intelligent. Culture, art, politics, fine food, and good manners. But we soon realize that something is wrong. Satellite 5 is a news station beaming out over 600 channels, but the technology is wrong. The history. Something is controlling and shaping the human race. The Doctor deduces that humanity has been set back about 90 years. The group run into Suki and Kathika, who are journalists at Satellite 5. Posing to be a management inspector, the Doctor is allowed access to see how the employees of Satellite 5 work. Kathika clicks her fingers and a ray of light enters her head, beaming information through her brain, while her co-workers edit the information before broadcast. All of it soon gets to be too much for Adam, who continues to disembark himself from Rose and the Doctor. Adam seeks information about the future and finds an information stand in one of the observation rooms. Using Rose's phone, he calls his mom and records a message on the answering machine. He's soon locked out of the information center due to not having a chip inside of his head granting him access. Therefore, he makes his way down to floor 16, also known as the medical floor, where Adam purchases the full info spike, the same as Kathika has. Meanwhile, at floor 500, we are introduced to the editor of Satellite 5. However, he turns out to merely be the servant of the editor-in-chief, the mighty Jackrafest of the holy Hydrajasic Maxarodinfo, an alien who seems to be in charge of humanity. Once in a while, a freedom fighter or an intelligent observer will make their way to Satellite 5. When that happens, they get promoted to floor 500, where they end up working as slaves to the editor. Suki turns out to be a freedom fighter in disguise, and is therefore promoted and killed by the Jackrafest. Soon after, the Doctor and Rose are discovered as non-entities by the editor, and also promoted. At floor 500, they are introduced to the editor and the Jackrafest. This is when we discover how the Jackrafest has corrupted the human race and enslaved it through misinformation. Upon this discovery, the Doctor and Rose are taken prisoner by the editor. Meanwhile, Adam has entered one of the news gathering rooms in order to once again transfer information to his parents' answering machine. This is soon interrupted, however, by the editor, who corrupts the information beam in order to acquire information about the Doctor and Rose. Because Rose gave Adam the key to the TARDIS, it is now possible for the editor to gain access to it. All hope is lost. However, Kathika has also found her way to floor 500, and through overhearing the Doctor's conversation with the editor, she finds a solution. She goes to the news gathering unit at floor 500 and overrides Adam's information beam. She then reverses the engineering of the space station that was built to house the Jackrafest. The Jackrafest's metabolism generates a lot of heat. That heat is then pumped out of the creature and channeled downstairs, keeping the Jackrafest cool and alive, while the rest of Satellite 5 is extremely hot. By reversing the process, Kathika is able to destroy the Jackrafest with the extreme heating. Kathika, Rose, and the Doctor manage to escape floor 500, while the Jackrafest blows up due to the extreme heating, and it gets destroyed. The episode ends with Kathika being the hero and the new person in control of reversing the damage that the Jackrafest has made, while the Doctor and Rose travel onwards. Before they continue traveling, however, the Doctor makes sure to drop off Adam at home with his parents, being disgusted over his actions, and therefore leaving him behind. Alright everybody, that was a short recap of the episode. Now let's get into the villain of the week, which in this case is the Jackrafest. Now the Jackrafest was a gigantic gelatinous purple / dark pink creature similar to a slug in shape. Now, although it was conscious, its only known methods of talking seemed to consist of growls and screeches. Now, the Jackrafest had a lifespan of about 3,000 years and had sharp, vicious teeth and several vestigial eyes. Its metabolic rate, however, meant that it had to be kept at a low temperature to survive. Now, this episode, The Long Game, is actually an element of foreshadowing to the two-part finale of this series, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. Now, in the finale, we actually discovered that it was, in fact, the Dalek Emperor who put the Jackrafest in charge of Satellite 5 as a pawn in a stratagem spanning over several hundreds of years. Now let's get into my review of this episode. My favorite scenes, in plural, of this episode is every single scene with Simon Pegg, for obvious reasons. I fucking love Simon Pegg. I mean, this guy is a genius behind such films as Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, The The World's End, Paul, Absolutely Anything, Man Up, Kill Me 3 Times, and so many more. This guy's a fucking genius. Now, when I first watched this episode back in 2012, I didn't know who Simon Pegg was. But now, rewatching the episode, it's amazing to me how they even got Simon Pegg to be in this episode. I know we see a lot of celebrity cameos in Doctor Who, but for the most part, it's sort of celebrities that aren't really that famous. But I feel like Simon Pegg is just at another level. This guy's a Hollywood star. This guy's a Hollywood movie star, and he's features in one episode of Doctor Who. If you've ever watched the Ricky Gervais series Extras, he points out how Doctor Who is this show where people appear as aliens or villains or whatever when they have nothing else to do with their career. But I feel like Simon Pegg was at the top of his game when he was in Doctor Who as a cameo. It seems kind of crazy to me. For me, he's what saved this episode. Simon Pegg saved this episode. 100%. Now, my least favorite scene of this episode is actually the opening scene where Rose tries to show off to Adam. I just don't get the meaning behind why she's trying to impress him. Is it because she's flirting with him? Is it because she's interested in him? I just don't get it. Why go through all of that to impress him? I don't know, man. It just seems a bit redundant and unnecessary.
Judging by the architecture, I'd say we're around the year 200,000. If you listen, engines. We're on some sort of space station. Yeah, definitely a space station.
Now let's talk a little bit about Adam as a character. I feel like he was ruined by Russell T Davies. I feel like he had a lot of potential to be a really good companion to the Doctor, but he's kind of ruined in this episode when we discover that his motives behind wanting to see the universe is only for personal gain. And obviously that's kind of disgusting, and I understand why the Doctor leaves him at home in the ending of this episode, but at the same time, I feel like he could have been a really three-dimensional character if he would have gotten time to develop. However, when everything boils down, this was just an all-throughout average episode. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad, and it's one of those episodes that you quickly forget, I feel like. And that's why it's getting 4 out of 5 TARDISes. Now, I would have given it less if it weren't for Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg absolutely saved this episode. If it weren't for Simon Pegg, I would have given this episode maybe 2.5 or 3 out of 5, because it's just such an average episode. But Simon Pegg really saved a lot. Anyway, that was all from me this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of this episode. Did you find it just as boring as I did? Or did you actually really enjoy it? Let me know. And I hope to see you all again next Saturday for a review of the episode Father's Day. I'm looking forward to that one. All right, see you next week. Bye.